I understand that the effort to finish the text of the bipartisan bill has progressed since I announced this vote last week. The negotiators have made significant progress, but there are still some outstanding issues.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer rejected Republican calls to slow down the process of moving a bipartisan infrastructure plan through his chamber. This is good news, folks. It looks like Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are finally stepping up to the plate and helping out the American people by sending out more stimulus relief payments. So if you guys are excited for a fourth stimulus check, then let's get this video to 1,000 likes.
For the first time, monthly payments began going out to nearly every working family raising a child in the United States of America. Thanks to the expanded child tax credit in the American Rescue Plan.
According to CNBC, Congress may be extending federal unemployment benefits past their expiration in early September. One labor economist told CNBC, "It is certainly possible we could have another round of economic contraction in certain areas. Folks, and the unemployment system won't be there for people the way it's been over the past year." Around half the states, largely Republican, have already withdrawn from the federal unemployment programs early. The senators and governors said that these benefits were keeping people from returning to work. Some economists say the dynamic is one Congress should be considering given recent statistics. Soaring caseloads were the reason Congress initially created the crisis-era benefit programs in March 2020. Via the CARES Act, the unemployment system expanded significantly, giving assistance to those who had exhausted state benefits and to those who don't normally qualify for state aid, like the self-employed, gig workers, and parents who had to take care for their kids at home. What are your thoughts on this, everybody? Do you believe the federal unemployment benefits should be extended? Leave a comment down below saying yes or no.
Understanding that for decades, working families have been struggling, the very rich have been getting richer, and you got billionaires and large corporations that pay in a given year nothing in taxes. Point number one, this bill will substantially raise taxes on the richest people in this country.
Everybody, Peter DeFazio to reporters in the Capitol. There's a whole lot of problems we have, and we're expressing our concerns, and we want an opportunity to actually negotiate the final bill, not just be handed a Senate bill and say this is it. Senate negotiators have been haggling for weeks over the details of a $1.2 trillion infrastructure framework, which President Biden is hoping to help usher through upper chamber as the first part of his two-track Year 1 economic agenda. Now, Chuck Schumer is hoping to light a fire under those talks, and he has scheduled a procedural vote on the bill for Wednesday. The timeline has met resistance from moderate Republican negotiators, but Schumer has so far rejected their pleas for more time to iron out the remaining disagreements. Joe Manchin, a key negotiator, said he supports Schumer's plan to push forward with the Wednesday vote. Joe Manchin said Tuesday evening, "We're getting close and we're not that far apart."
Future time. My colleagues on both sides should be assured. As Majority Leader, I have every intention of passing both major My colleagues on both sides of the aisle should be assured. As Majority Leader, I have every intention of passing both major infrastructure packages.
If the Senate negotiators do find common ground and the bill is able to attract the 10 Republicans to overcome a GOP filibuster, it would then move to the House, where a number of moderate Democrats are hoping to vote on it quickly in order to take a bipartisan victory. So everybody, what are your thoughts on this? Do you believe the Democrats and the Republicans need to stop playing the political games and help out the American people? And who do you think is to blame for holding back our stimulus check? Is it the Republicans or the Democrats? Tell me your thoughts, everybody, in the comment below. I just hope that we'll see President Biden send out the fourth stimulus check as soon as possible.
Thank you all for listening. May God bless you, and I'll take a few questions.
Mr. President, you said last week that companies and platforms like Facebook are killing people by letting misinformation.
Let me give you precisely what I said. I'm glad you asked me that question. One, I had just read that on the Facebook pointed out that Facebook, of all the misinformation, 60% of the misinformation came from 12 individuals.
Now, the IRS also shows that the country turned away or simply failed to cash around 1.4 million stimulus checks, and that's a whopping $1.7 billion of unclaimed stimulus money. Citizens across the country, in states like California, Florida, and Texas, all missed out on receiving their stimulus money and the much-needed stimulus check. Democratic politicians continue to urge Joe Biden to reintroduce another round of extra cash. After all, everybody, we do know that there are still many Americans across the country that are suffering financially. And a fourth stimulus check must be approved very soon. And if you guys agree, then let's get this video to 1,000 likes. More than 24 Democrats have called on the White House to introduce automatic stabilizers tied to a relief package. The proposal was designed to prevent delays as lawmakers continue to quarrel in Congress. Yahoo Finance reports that the proposed legislation includes unemployment as an automatic stabilizer, which would enable the current number of eligible jobless Americans to claim an automatic relief payment. Around 36 million American families are set to receive monthly checks from the IRS as part of the expanded child tax credit, and this is basically like a fourth stimulus check. Eligible families will receive up to $1,800 in cash through December. However, the tax credit has a wrinkle that may prompt some families to bypass the federal program. Jen Psaki told CBS News that the Biden administration has proposed extending the monthly payments for 5 more years. She told reporters he thinks that this is a central benefit that will help families help get women back to work. The CTC is refundable, which means that people can get it even if they don't even owe federal income tax. But the IRS says families will have to either file a tax return or register through the agency's non-filer portal.
Billions to the deficit and national debt, not Social Security. Now, the truth is that while we do not have a Social Security crisis today, we do have a retirement crisis, and that is a very serious problem. All over this country, millions of Americans, people who have worked their entire lives, are wondering if they will ever be able to retire with any shred of dignity. The sad truth is that, as a result of the collapse of our middle class and declining wages, more than half of older workers between the ages of 55 to 64 have no retirement savings. Imagine that. You're heading to the moment in your life when you're no longer able to work, when you can't earn any income, and you have nothing in the bank. How scary is that? Further, millions of other workers have seen their pensions eliminated or severely cut back. Promises were made to them by their employers, and those promises were not kept. 30 years ago, more than a third of private sector workers had a guaranteed defined benefit pension plan. Today, fewer than 18% do, and that number is shrinking every day. The result is that many of our parents and our grandparents are trying to survive on totally inadequate incomes. Millions of seniors today are trying to make ends